Namaste and welcome to Devi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit. I'm so glad that we have people here tonight in person, and I welcome everybody who's joining online. My apologies, we're having issues with YouTube again, so recording this and broadcasting this live was not possible. So thank you for your patience, those of you who are going to be joining and watching this later, and you can still take part in the mantras and the meditations. So I want to wish you both a happy Friday and also a happy Ganesh Chaturthi. This is the birthday of Lord Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. And considering that we have a school year that is just starting, and at least has been the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's also very traditional to honor Lord Ganesha at the start of an academic year. So, Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
A couple of announcements before we get started. So this coming Tuesday, we'll be continuing with our Yoga Upanishads series. We're going to be discussing the Dhyana Bindu Upanishad, which means the center of meditation Upanishad, and the Nada Bindu Upanishad, or energy center Upanishad. These are very short scriptures that I'll read through and have some comments on, and then we'll do some practices related to them. And then next Friday at 7 o'clock, either live on YouTube or in person, I will be doing our monthly Yoga Nidra meditation. So look forward to everyone joining me for those. So this is part 14 of 15 parts of our Kali Nityas Goddess series. I'm going to share with you some notes on that before we begin. I've not had a chance to post the PowerPoint yet. I'll be doing that this evening, the same time that I am posting tonight's broadcast. So you can listen to what I have to share tonight, and then you can replay the PowerPoint later and kind of review the information. I've got some nice illustrations with it. So, part 14, the Kali Nityas, for anyone who's new, are a collection of 15 goddesses who are different aspects of Ma Kali. And on the first slide, and actually I've got a much bigger copy of this here. So when you look at the PowerPoint, you'll see a slide that shows all 15 of them. And they're associated with the 15 nights of the waning lunar cycle. So these are the nights between the full moon and the new moon. And the 14th of the Kali Nitya goddesses is Mudra. And I've got an illustration of Ma Mudra here. So, as the 14th goddess, she represents the 14th night of the full moon. The moon will look something like this on that particular night. And her name means sacred gesture. And so a mudra, a lot of people think of hand mudras, like Gayam Mudra, which is a gesture of wisdom. But mudras are really any kind of yogic position or posture or exercise. So for example, there is Ketchuri Mudra, which is done sometimes in Kriya-related meditation, where in the extreme, the tongue goes all the way back up into the sinus cavity, or you're just simply bringing the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth where the hard palate and soft palate join. It just connects a nice little energy circuit. And then mudra can also refer to a yogic asana as well. So for example, in Tantra, there's this idea of the rite of the 5 M's, 5 Sanskrit terms, and these terms refer to meat, fish, parched grains, wine or alcohol, and sexual union. And so this can be done, and there are people who do this literally, but this can also be symbolic of something else. So for example, for meat, eating beef is a euphemism for Ketchuri Mudra, bringing the tongue to the back of the mouth. Fish corresponds to the air element, and so it is the pranayama part of the meditation, the deep breathing. Mudra, parched grains, in its literal form, it refers to spices. Some people will use cannabis, but mudra in this case, which corresponds to the earth element, is the meditative posture that you're sitting in where your spine is straight. And then alcohol or wine, which corresponds to the fire element, that is an eye mudra, where behind your closed eyes, your eyes are slightly focused upwards toward your third eye, and you're focusing on the light pattern that's produced by that. And then the final one, sexual union, can also be a euphemism or symbolic of the meditator's union with the divine, the goal of meditation. So mudra is actually a very broad term and can mean a great many different things. So we've been discussing yantras, or spiritual diagrams of the different Kali Nitya goddesses. This is mudras. So there's a downward facing triangle in the center. This is traditionally a symbol of the yoni and of the divine feminine. There's a 6-pointed star, a union of an upward and a downward triangle. This represents the union of masculine and feminine, or dynamic and receptive forces, surrounded by 8 petals, and then this protective structure with 4 gates called a pura. And I'm going to go into a little more depth into the explanation of this diagram. So that first triangle in the center, that downward facing triangle, represents 3 different divine powers: Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. And these are the divine functions of will, knowledge, and action. And then the 6 points of the star are the names of, or 6 different names of the Divine Mother. So there's Rajada, which means bestower of the kingdom; Bogada, movement; Mokshada, liberation; Jayada, victory; Abhyada, fearlessness; and Sita. And these are what one might call magical powers that are gained through yogic practice. The 8 lotus petals represent 8 important goddesses called the Matrikas, or little mothers. These include Brahmani, the Shakti of the creator, Brahma; Maheshvari, who is a form of Parvati; Kaumari, who is the basically the daughter-in-law of Shiva and Parvati. She's the wife of their warrior son Skanda. Vaishnavi, the Shakti power of Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi in other words. Varahi, the Shakti of Vishnu's wild boar incarnation. Indriyani, who's the Shakti of Indra, the god of storms. Chamunda, Ma Kali, and Narashimi, who is the Shakti of Vishnu's lion incarnation. Think of how a lioness protects her cubs. And then in that outer structure called the Bapura, that square with the 4 gates, there's actually some different collections of protective deities that dwell within that part of the yantra. So these would include Ganapa. The Ganapa are Lord Shiva's attendants. The Yoginis, who are a collection of goddesses associated with different yogic powers. Chetrapala, these are guardian deities. And Vatukanata, and these are divine gatekeepers. So this diagram for Ma Mudra has a very strong protective feature to it. Her meditational form, which we're going to focus on during our fire puja when we're meditating, she is naked. She is the color of a blue lotus. She's fierce, with 3 tawny, that is brownish orange or saffron eyes, 4 arms, roaring loudly with a garland of heads and a girdle of hands, a skirt of hands or arms, blood on her lips. She's holding a skull bowl or kapala, and a knife, and a sword, and a shield. And I want to say something about her, first thing about her diagram, and I'm going to come back to this picture. The position that she's in, with one leg drawn up and the other touching the ground, you see a lot of goddesses like Durga in this position. And it's a position of, or an asana that's associated with victory over our inner demons. Her nudity, think of the idea of being sky-clad. The universe is her garb, hence the power of the infinite. She is a part of everything. Her fierceness and loud roaring, again, this is her ability to frighten our inner demons, those parts of our psyche that are getting in the way of us expressing what our true purpose really is. Her blue skin, likewise, is associated with both the destruction of evil and also of personal courage. The 3 eyes represent consciousness in this realm and beyond, and the fact that they are orange or saffron in color is associated with the fire element and the burning away of impurities. Thinking of fire as a purifying and also of a transmutive element. The 4 arms are associated with Dharma, the correct order of the universe. There's also personal Dharma, where through meditation, through doing this work, we realize the true mission that we took birth for this time around in our current incarnation. Her sword, or khadga, is for cutting away ego-related attachments, and those ego attachments are symbolized by the severed head that the Divine Mother is seen carrying. Her skull bowl represents the transformation of consciousness. The skull mala or necklace. Usually it's 50 skulls or heads in number, and these are the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. Thus, this is associated with the power of both the word and of mantra as well, and also the cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. Her skirt of arms, and I've got an illustration showing this down here. When we're doing this work and we become united with the Divine Mother, then our actions become her actions. So these arms are the actions of her devotees when they allow her power to flow through them. And then the knife represents the careful removal of unnecessary attachments and distractions. It's almost like Kali comes in with that sword and whoosh, cuts this big issue away, and then it's like she comes now in with this knife and just makes sure that everything is completely excised. And then the shield is kind of an interesting weapon, because Kali's sword is an invincible weapon. You have her sword, you can't lose. So it's not for her protection, but the protection of her children, the protection of her devotees. And so this is something we've been doing through this series and in previous series, is when we look at the symbolism of a particular deity and the position they're in, the objects they're holding. There's a tremendous story that those things tell. So while we're giving offerings to the fire, we're going to be chanting her mantra, rather lengthy one. So those of you who are watching or participating, I'm not expecting you to follow along with it, but in meditation, while we're doing the mantra, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, focus on her meditational image, which I'll describe again, and just let the powers, just let the force of the mantra, the sound of the mantra, just guide your consciousness to where it needs to go. So her mantra is Om Krim Hrim Hum Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Mede Deyani O Jagamudra Svarupani Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medehini Bojagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. So Om is the creative consciousness of the universe. Krim is the bij or seed or one syllable mantra of Ma Kali. Hum is associated with the Divine Mother's protective power. Hrim is the bij mantra of the Divine Mother in all of her aspects. Prim is an interesting one. It's associated with a bird, the crow. And in Nepali, rural Nepali folklore, it was the crow that taught the first humans how to speak. And so there's a strong association with the mantra Prim and for magic, for spells. Frem is a fire bij mantra, so the element of fire. Mudramba, the great goddess Mudra. Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Mede Deyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani roughly translates to, O dearest goddess Mudra, whose magic dwells within my physical form and within the universe. Fat is the deity's destructive power, destroying those things that stand in our way. And Spa, that's a very popular fire puja mantra. When you're giving an offering to the fire, you're saying Spa. It sometimes translates to I am one with the divine. So just some basic information on the Nitya Goddess Mudra in preparation for our practice tonight. So I invite you at this point to make yourself comfortable in a comfortable meditative position where your back can be straight. I invite you to close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Letting go of the cares and concerns of the day. Letting go of the worries and anxieties of tomorrow. Focusing your attention on this present moment, the work we're about to do. And I invite you at this time to think about just some small aspect of your life that is ready for growth, transformation, or somewhere where you could use some insight or some knowledge. You can also think of somebody close to you who's in need of healing or support. And just take a moment as you breathe to express silently that personal intention for our puja tonight. Bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we'll open our ceremony by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavistam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Forward. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavistam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Sashivanam Sutobhajam Prasnavadanam Dayat Sava Vigno Pasantaye. Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Om Triambakam Yajamaye Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukameva Bandhanan Vityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute. Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutita Harini Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Jai Ma Kali.
Jai Ma Kali.
Mantra Samapayami Shri Ganesha Nama. So we're going to do a round of mantras to Lord Ganesh, whose appearance on earth we're going to be celebrating this evening. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Nama. 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah. 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 Power of the mantra, power of the remover of obstacles. Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Om Kapuragoram Karanavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendra Haram Sada Santam Hridayara Vinde Vivam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishora Devi Chachara Charasya Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva. Om Samapayami Sri Ketchuri Mudra Devi Namah. So I invite you now to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and focus on that space just in front of your third eye. Experience it as a deep and infinite void. as you focus, you begin to see the form of the Divine Mother manifesting before you. The Divine Mother, Kali Mudra. She is naked, the color of a blue lotus. She is fierce, with saffron eyes, 4 arms. She is roaring loudly, and she has a garland of heads around her neck, a skirt of arms around her waist. You see blood on her lips, and she is holding a skull bowl, and a knife, and a sword, and a shield. So as we make offerings to the fire, I invite you to let the mantra guide your consciousness to where it needs to be at this moment. And let it also give you strength, give you healing, and give you guidance for yourself and those closest to you. Jai Ma Kali Mudra. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medehi Bo Jagati Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudralamba Mudra Siddhim Medeni Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medehini Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medehini Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeyani Bo Jagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Medeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Frem Mudramba Mudra Siddhim Madeni Bojigan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hrim Prim Fram Mudramba Mudra Sadim Madeni Bojagan Mudra Svarupani Om Fat Sva. So I invite you now to slowly open your eyes and gaze upon the fire. Feel the transformative power of Ma Mudra's mantra. Like this fire, taking from you those things that no longer should be part of your life and transforming them into something more balanced and harmonious. And as you meditate upon the light and the heat of our fire, feel the Divine Mother's transformative power coming into you, just as you feel it going to those closest to you who are also in need.
Jai Ma. Jai
Kali
Ma.
Mudra Devi. Jai Ma. Kali Mudra Devi. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Kali Mudra Devi. Jai Ma.
Jai
Kali Mudra Devi. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadike Sadanye Triambake Devi Naryane Namostute Om Shanti 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 Om Sana Bhavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Kadavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvidyavahai Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Jai Ganesha
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Guru
Jai
Jai
Guru.
Guru.
Om Namah Shivaya
Namah
Om
Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya.
Jai Ma Devi
Jai
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Ma Kali
Jai Ma
Jai Ma Kali.
Jai Ma Kali Mudra Devi
Jai Ma Kali Mudra Devi.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah
Om Ganganapataye Namo Namah.
Jai Mata Di
Jai
Jai
Mata
Mata
Di.
Di.
Jai Mata Di
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Mata Di
Jai Mata Di.
Blessings always. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Forward to you joining me on Tuesday.